The fight against critical race theory takes a step forward in the state of North Carolina. There, state Republicans advance legislation that defines what teachers can and cannot discuss in the classroom. The Lieutenant Governor of the great state of North Carolina, Mark Robinson, joins us right now. Mark, good morning to you.
Thank you for having me here this morning. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you as well. Apparently what the Republicans are very concerned with is they want to make sure that in school, the kids are educated, not indoctrinated.
Absolutely. That is the main goal of this bill. The goal of this bill, and erroneously people think what we want to do is try to whitewash history. Me being a person who, I was studying to be an educator before I became lieutenant governor. And, you know, as an educator, I want to teach children about everything that's happened in our nation, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all aspects of it. What I don't want to do is impart my own opinion on them, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that these kids and the teachers are not being pressured to follow any ideology.
Who would they be pressured by?
Well, we have a task force that we've assembled here in North Carolina in our office for the purposes of combating indoctrination in the classroom. And what we've seen so far is that, unfortunately, there are teachers in the classroom who are forcing their opinion on students, and we cannot allow that to happen. It's also happening, of course, to teachers as well.
Mr. Lieutenant Governor,
superiors.
Mr. Lieutenant Governor, you know, there are people who say a CRT, critical race theory, is not actually a real thing. It does not exist. To those people, what do you say?
I say that it does exist. Unfortunately, it's kind of slippery. It's almost, you can't really put your hands on it.
Yeah.
But it can be defined, and it can be seen when you see it in the classroom. I think the bill that we have in front of the Senate coming up, I think that bill will go a long way to combating the ills of what we call critical race theory.
Yeah, so it may pass the legislature, but then it goes to the Democratic governor, and who knows what's going to happen there. Something else going on in North Carolina is Davidson College there is now offering a hashtag abolish the police course. They say about this, they had a statement to Fox News. They said, "We focus on studies that are liberating and dedicate ourselves to the quest for truth. The authoring of any class, whatever its title, reflects that it covers a subject worth studying." Do you have concerns about that particular course, sir?
I have not read the curriculum of that course, so I cannot comment on it exactly. But I will tell you that given today's climate, the title of the course itself is very concerning. What we have seen over the last couple of years with this anti-police rhetoric, conservatives and folks on my side of the aisle, and we have been screaming from the rafters that this is going to have dreadful effects for many communities around the nation, and that is proven true. We see this huge spike in crime now ever since we've been browbeating and denigrating and defunding our police agencies across the country, and we see the dreadful effects now. We even have many Democrats who are speaking up against it. So I'm very concerned when I see something like that being offered at an institution of higher learning.
Well, it will be interesting to see what they actually do talk about in it. He is the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of North Carolina, Mark Robinson. Sir, thank you very much for getting up early and joining us from Raleigh today.
Thank you again for having me.
You bet.